So we have been spending a lot of time recently going over some short films and some full films.
And just films.
Just films overall. Getting ready for these
film season.
The film season.
Film season, baby.
Film season coming up. We actually know what we're going to be filming, too.
We do.
Instead of just bullcrap.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and we're writing scripts. Which we normally don't ever go by scripts.
We don't.
Or at least in the past we haven't.
Right.
So, yeah, that's exciting.
You guys got a lot of good stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we can get into some film festivals. Ooh, that'd be fun.
That'd be mint.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Welcome to the Small YouTube Channels Talk Podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about stuff right after we roll the intro music.
Roll the intro music.
Warning, the following pre-recorded podcast will blow your mind. Broadcasting to Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Recorded in Cole's parents' basement. This is Small YouTube Channels Talk.
Welcome
back
to the Small
from
YouTube
Cole's
Channels.
basement.
That's right.
I'm your host, Cole James Anderson.
And I'm your co-host, Jack Xavier Unruh.
I think we got him. It's funny because I'm actually not Cole James Anderson.
It's classic. So we have like literally nothing to talk about this week.
But we do actually.
We do,
Yeah.
but we didn't originally. We're just going to jump into some hot takes because actually the reason why we're hanging out right now is because we're going over Jack's finished Shoreline script. Well, semi-finished because it just has a few small tweaks and
Almost.
stuff.
I'd say 90%.
98%.
98%
finished. And we also got to get the podcast out of the way.
I mean, come on. Yeah,
Right.
everybody knows
so,
that.
we also have Ed here in the background. He's going to leave soon. Ed, scream hi.
Yo, what's up, party people? And we've got Charlie. Charlie, give him one.
He's just purring. All right, so we'll jump into a hot take right away. This isn't necessarily a hot take, but a good question. If you could go back in time and change one thing about one of your previous films, what would it be?
Ooh.
I have one.
Let's hear it.
Add the neck snapping sound effect in 1861.
Yeah, and so Cole made 1861 Butthole Street, which is a
classic
sequel to
sequel.
the 1860 Butthole Street from TCP. And in one scene,
a bit of a spoiler alert. Jack actually snaps my neck, but it's too hard to tell because there's no like neck bone breaking sound, which kind of makes it hard to, because then I just like turn my head and it's like, oh, is he dead?
Right.
Yeah, it's just a bit, yeah. What about you? Do you have anything that you'd change?
Yeah, I have a lot of things that I would change actually. Films, so Slick Trigger. Here we go.
Slick Trigger. I was really hoping that we'd avoid Slick Trigger this week, but
well, yeah, if I had to change anything, it'd be the audio from Slick Trigger.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's rough.
Yeah. Audio, you guys, is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's a half of your film.
Honestly, it is.
It is 50% of your film. Visuals is the other 50.
That's right. And I try to live by that now.
Yeah. For
like,
sure.
Even though we're like upgrading our cameras and stuff we're still trying to learn about audio and stuff.
Exactly.
I'm trying to pick up a new boom mic and stuff for when we shoot because audio is super important.
It absolutely is. I got some new toys for Christmas. I got some wireless mics and
some wireless lavs, right?
Wireless lavs, yeah. Body packs.
Is it like 4? Do you have 2 receivers and 2 transmitters?
2 receivers.
2 transmitters
that all go to one USB.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys, we're upgrading our audio, so you can look forward to some improved audio quality and visual quality.
That's right, because a film can look like crap but sound great, and people will just kind of accept that because maybe it was supposed to look like crap. But you see a film that's shot perfectly that has absolutely horrible sound,
you don't even want to sit through it.
No, of course not. People are going to think that you're amateur, even if the composition is freaking beautiful.
Exactly.
That's the biggest problem with Slick Trigger. There's some absolutely amazing shots in Slick Trigger.
And the audio is trash.
Yeah. But we're learning more
working
about
on
that.
it. Yeah,
we're working on it.
Every bad shot is a lesson.
That's right.
The biggest teacher is failure, as we talked about last week. keeping continuity with the podcast.
Failure is also the best motivator.
It is.
Yeah. As we've talked about before. Right. I mean, other than 1861, for me, I want to say if I could have finished the original Slick Trigger prior, I think I might have a little bit more experience too. Mm-hmm. Just because that was going in a really good direction. The first 2 episodes aren't bad with, on par. They're pretty on par with
your
like,
shots
what
always
we're
look
doing.
good.
I try.
You can always
thank
tell
you.
what's happening in your videos, which is really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And you've gotten better at that.
Yeah, well, we're trying. Ours is mainly just crap thrown together, but we're working on it.
I mean, yeah, I really wish I would have finished Slick Trigger prior, and I mean that's like the only other thing. I'm thinking about I'm reading Demons, the feature film. I mean, it's gonna be going under a new name soon.
Really?
And maybe bring back.
Is
Demons
it going back into
as
the mill?
Original story?
Ooh.
Possibly as like a something to do every once in a while.
Sure.
I've thought about doing that. What about you? You thinking any other projects? Any projects other than
yes, actually,
your feature? See Ed. Everybody, check out Ed on Instagram.
Yeah, Eddie. Summer Rae.
Okay.
All right. So, actually, I've been working on some music lately.
Music?
Yeah, taking a trip down the musical avenue.
Why music? You trying to learn how to do soundtracks? Or?
Well, no, honestly, I was just inspired by Post Malone.
Really?
To just do stuff. And I found a super cool website.
Soundtrap, right?
Soundtrap.
Right.
And it's so easy. I'm making beats. I'm making lyrics now. I'm trying to work on lyrics. Lyrics is tough.
I like music, and I've always wanted to, but I don't have like the kind of like, I don't have like the voice. I don't think so. Cause like when I've done stuff in the past, like the diss track or Cocaine on My Dreidel or stuff like that. I really, really want to make an album, and I've had this idea for maybe a couple years of an album called Cracker. I know it's funny because like I'm white, but there's like a couple songs that like I really want to do, but like I can't get myself to like write anything relevant.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna produce the album and have other people on it, like kind of like a group album.
Sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
Like do you know who Big Gigantic is?
That sounds. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they do, or like a Kygo type thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we were talking about this. Did we talk about our takes on Marriage Story last week?
I think we did. Yes.
Okay.
That's a good film.
Yeah, I was gonna bring something up about that, but it doesn't matter.
Well, if you want to bring it up, you can. Go for it.
Well, after watching that, kind of thinking about it this week, I thought it'd be fun to make like a real life drama.
I've always wanted to do that too.
I mean? Like a drama, not like crazy like action, really based
just pure drama.
Just like drama. Star is Born and Marriage Story. Shot like that. Shot more like Star is Born. And when there
is action, similar to like Whiplash, when there is action, it's huge in the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like spoilers, end of Star is Born, Bradley Cooper's character kills himself. Or in Whiplash, again, spoiler, seriously, go see these fucking films.
You have to.
Whiplash, like it's called Whiplash because like one of the songs they play is Whiplash, but also because the main character gets in a car crash at the end of the second act. And Whiplash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a huge moment. And like, yeah, I've always wanted to make like maybe that should be our next project after the features.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've got a lot of things on mind right now.
I want to make a documentary about because I've always been kind of borderline atheist, agnostic, Christian. I go back and forth on it. Like some days I'm like, oh God, and other days I'm like, God doesn't exist. I struggle with it.
You're still searching.
I struggle, yeah. And I wanted to make a documentary that you would help me produce where I try to fall back into faith and just kind of document the entire journey. And I know that it would be super emotional for me.
That'd be super cool.
And I think that would be a really, really good watch.
I would love to help you with that.
Because, you have you could film me in that sense and also be a mentor of sorts, because you're good in your faith, and Trevor is similar. He's in faith, and with my knowledge, I could do video diaries of myself.
That'd be so cool.
And we could do interviews with pastors, and I even know this is gonna sound crazy. And like when I say this, I don't want you to immediately assume, but I have a friend who's a Satanist, who doesn't worship Satan, but Satanist in the terms of like they don't worship anything.
Okay.
And like it'd be fun to do an interview with them too, just kind of like hit as many sides of the spectrum as we possibly can. Interview atheists, agnostic, Christians. Maybe if we can find some Jews or some Muslims. Really, just because I want to learn so much about people's faith, because I've never been able to accept a certain faith into my life.
Sure, I think that'd be super cool. Like a very real life, raw.
Right. Because I know that there'd be moments and there'd be days where I would just be fucking. I wouldn't want to do anything, and there would be scenes of you like, come on, Cole, you got to do it. Like, do it for the documentary. And I'd be like, fucking in tears, like nearly. And I'd be like, I don't want to. Yeah. God doesn't love me. Like all this stuff. Yeah. And I feel like it'd be like just a really good dramatic, like, and it'd probably do a lot for people to watch it too.
I think so too. I think that it could be a really good teaching, depending on how it goes.
Right.
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool, because I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But
I'm
like,
thinking maybe do that after reality dating.
Like a drama of sorts. And another project idea I had in mind was probably before I do the drama. I think I've got 3 movies in my head right now.
Really? Okay.
First one obviously is Shoreline.
Right.
Second one would be Gorilla the movie.
Gorilla the movie.
And I have
an idea for a movie called Gorilla, but it's like a very serious version of what Gorilla is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Yeah. I think, so basically what it would be is, you guys have seen Gorilla. I know you have, because I know you guys are avid listeners, avid watchers. Yeah.
If you haven't, that's a disgrace.
Yeah, you're a disgrace. No, yeah. So like basically it starts off in a courtroom, and it's just insane. You have no idea why things are happening. So like there's like a basketball team in there that everybody's going wild. Somebody's like, there's like a stripper in the corner. Like nobody knows what's going on. The judge is like, quiet. And so, yeah, order in the court. Mel, Charlie, and Bug are saying there, all right, you guys do understand. And there's a little bit of like.
They call a witness, and Gideon is the witness.
Yeah, Finnegan's there. Finnegan's there. Everybody's there. And it's like, oh, come on, judge. And now let's get back to business. You 3 do understand that you blew up a daycare.
So good.
And then we're like, and she's like, now would you walk me through how this happened? So we're like, all right, well, we got to go back to the beginning. And so it's this non-linear timeline of us explaining how we eventually blow up a daycare. Starting from, and it goes through all the struggles of no budget filmmakers, maybe like, and I don't know how this would all work out yet, but I think it could be absolutely hilarious.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
I'm never ever gonna tackle comedy unless you're there with me, because comedy is so hard to do.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
We were just talking about this as we were reading Shoreline script. I had some lines in there that, as I was writing in my head, we're like, oh, this, if we do this right, it could be funny.
It's gotta land.
It's gotta land.
If it doesn't land.
Yeah, and we saw that with Slick Trigger, like in the theater, like
some stuff doesn't land with some audiences.
Yeah, and it really is about delivery. Mm-hmm. Like when you look at lines on the script, if you're writing something and you look at your line and you're reading it, as long as you have an idea of how you want it to be said, that's fine. If you're just trying to throw in a joke, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Because it's gotta land.
Right. And it's got to make sense in the context of the scene too. There's just like a lot of barriers you got to hit.
Exactly. And you can't try to do comedy that you don't do. Like me, if I try to do like Adam Sandler's comedy, if I try to do Eddie Murphy's comedy, it wouldn't work because I'm not them.
Right.
I'm me, and I have to do my comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Our comedy is, and that's the thing, it's so subjective.
It is. That's the tough part about it.
And drama can be subjective in a way too, but it's not as subjective,
Because comedy can vary so much, but
there's different types of comedy. You know?
Right. Whereas, somebody something happens to them, there's not many different types of grief, what I mean?
It's pretty much everyone deals with it relatively the same.
Right.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like if in all of the films that I have had ideas for, not a single one is a comedy. I've never ever and I love watching comedies, stand up, classic Adam Sandler, stuff like that.
Right.
They're great films, but I know for a fact I cannot pull off comedy.
And that's as long as
my strengths aren't in it.
You got to know where your element is.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And if I were to do a comedy, it'd flop.
Right.
And that's just what I know.
If I tried doing a reality bleeding-esque, a hardcore grief.
Right.
I probably couldn't pull that off either. So we gotta
and it's more about adaptation, because I'm sure in the future with more experience you'll have more experience and you'll be able to pull off more projects like that.
Yeah.
And then as I get older, maybe I can see. Maybe I can understand comedy and film a little bit better. And
we're not saying don't try it.
Right.
Try it. Do it.
Please. Yeah, you should try
You should go for it. But just know that if you're getting frustrated and it seems like you're forcing yourself to do something that doesn't come naturally almost, then just think about it,
Try something new, but don't push it,
Yeah, don't just quit, obviously. But you just, figure out what you can do.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I've always struggled with that.
Yeah, same.
But
I think everybody does.
I wasn't really good at drama when I first started, but I think I've gotten really good, especially with I think personal experience kind of pushes a lot of what you end up being good at in film too.
And that too, if you aren't good at it but you want to be good at it, just keep doing it and you'll get better and better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Okay, let's go to another hot take. Let's go to another hot take. Let's see. We have here we go. The majority of modern cinema is generic, boring, and uninspired. Do you agree?
I've been thinking about this across.
This hot take was from Robert Welch, by the way. He just dropped 1039.3. Go check out his YouTube channel, Mr. RW Studios. Sorry, I had to plug him.
No, yeah. That's funny you bring that up because I've been thinking about this. In my earlier years, I always wanted to be a rebel and say oh, I don't like any mainstream music. I don't like any mainstream movies. They used to know how to make good music. They used to know how to make good movies. And then really within the past couple of years, I've been realizing you know what? No, there are trash movies in the past too. There's trash music in the past.
It's okay to like mainstream and non-mainstream.
Exactly.
stuff.
If it's good, it's good.
Right. Post Malone is very mainstream, but it's good.
It's
music.
Good. Exactly. And it's that's the thing. If you people can't say, oh, when my movies back when I was made, they knew. Now they just don't know how to make a movie anymore.
I only watch independent films because they're the most artistic, and that's what film is supposed to be.
Exactly. It's no, if it's good, it's good.
Do you think a majority of modern cinema though is uninspired and just all the same basically?
Yes, actually.
I think there's a lot of that.
I agree with that. I mean, look how many sequels.
And sequels.
There's no new original stuff.
Right.
That's why it's so cool and it's so sad because anything new, like a new idea, new concept that comes out just gets shot down.
It's so obvious when a sequel is just being made just because it's a sequel,
Yeah.
When I plan, projects and stuff, I plan what if the story, if the story doesn't end in a good place at the end of it, I could be yeah, okay, I want to make a sequel. Not because money or fame, but because the story isn't finished.
Because of the story.
It's so obvious when people just make another movie just because.
Yeah.
They're making another Fast and Furious and they're bringing back Paul Walker.
No way. Are you serious?
Yes. They're going to use CG and they're going to bring back his brother.
Man.
And why? What's the point?
If that turns anything out
off,
Rise of Skywalker, CGI for Carrie Fisher and how they'd use her delayed scenes, if that's anything like that, then it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much.
I agree. There's a new Ghostbusters movie. How many times we're going to see Ghostbusters? There's a new, there's a sequel to, Oh, I can't think of it. I mean, everywhere you look. I mean, the Lion King remake. You know,
what was the point of that?
Yeah, Men in Black. How many remakes of that are we going to do?
Exactly.
You know, Toy Story 12. I mean, even though Toy Story 4 is my favorite.
Toy Story 4 was good, but
we're just milking these old things. Like, let's get something new. Let's start something.
Exactly, and you could say that with us about Slick Chigger, because I'm not gonna lie, the original story to Slick Chigger, if built upon, could be like a trilogy of films.
It could,
because with what I had planned for a prequel and then what you could make from a sequel, there is so much you could do there. And if in the future we had the proper amount of funding, we could remake we could make an entire trilogy of Slick Trigger films.
Oh, for sure.
And they would be so good. But people would say the same shit about us, even though we have a story planned out.
And so that's the thing. Like, as long as you have an idea of where it's going, like the Dark Knight trilogy, like Nolan, when he made Batman Begins, he said he didn't plan for sequels, but he planned for, like, okay, if the story were to keep going, where would it go?
He kind of left it open.
He left it open.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's not something like where he's milking it. That's something where he just wants to finish the story.
Right.
He set it up to tell the story. And it's not like, okay, so I'm going to bring up something here that might take a little while to talk about, but I think we need to talk about it. I've been trying to decide my opinion lately on the Marvel films, because crazy thing is, I was a junior in high school and I had nothing to do in class, so I just watched Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. And I just started, like, on my own, like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start with, like, Iron Man, like, from where they started. And so, like, I started watching all of them, and right at that time they're like, Infinity War is coming out, and that was really the start of, like, the modern, like, hype for Marvel. You know what I mean? Right. Which is so crazy.
Well,
like,
I mean,
that's
there's
just
been the hype
up
for it, but, like, that was when it blew up to everyone.
Right, exactly. And which is crazy, because, like, it was, like, right before that when I started watching, like, all the films. So I watched them all, and, like, it's like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I love this. And then between the year of Infinity War and Endgame, I just saw how much, like, how absolutely massive it was. Mm-hmm. And, like, how many films there are.
22, right?
At least.
I think there's
gotta be. That's crazy.
I think there's 19 before Infinity War.
So, like, what do you think about that? Like Martin Scorsese said he doesn't even think it's
He
cinema.
said they're like theme parks, not cinema.
Yeah.
I half agree with Scorsese and I half don't. One, because the formula of a lot of these movies are just pump them out to make, like, people are literally just making them to make them.
For sure.
And you can tell when they're just being made. Yeah. For profit.
Oh, for sure.
But then you see films like the original Iron Man, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War. Like, there is an immense amount of love and effort put into these films.
I agree.
I think that there are just as many Marvel movies that are high tier cinema as there are really, really trashy ones. Like, the first two Thor movies are complete garbage.
So, like, here's the thing about that is, like,
and those two were just made for money, honestly. That's what I just think.
Yeah. And I think, like, when, like, especially like Iron Man 1, like, when they took a risk of, like, just starting out, like, the Marvel stuff, like, phase 1 of Marvel, does that end at Endgame? Phase
1 of Marvel. There's been 3 phases so far. Phase 1 ended with the first Avengers. And then phase 2 ended with Civil War, I want to say. Because there was, the second Avengers and then there was Civil War. Mm-hmm. I want to say that phase 2 ended with Civil War. And then phase 3 ended with Endgame.
Okay. So I think that they had to go to Endgame.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand and I love all that.
And they built that up for so long, for sure. Too. Like, that was planned.
But where do they go now? Do they keep milking Marvel stuff? Because it's like, how many times are we going to see these superheroes? How many superheroes are we going to use?
Right.
Like, and I get, like, oh yeah, people love the Marvel stuff. It's superheroes. Like, but I just don't know.
And the game felt like the definitive end for me. For them,
I agree.
And I don't feel the need to watch anymore.
I agree.
Like, I might, go catch the new Doctor Strange because it might look interesting or Or I might go see Black Widow because David Harbour's in it, but like I'm not gonna go see it because I am in desperate need of what's the story gonna be next?
Right.
Like, I don't, I'm gonna show my kids the good Marvel films up until Endgame.
That's all you need.
And I'm not gonna show them anymore.
No.
Unless I see some film that's like absolutely crazy good. And that's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's gonna go anywhere.
I agree. And I think that's kind of to Robert's point of there's so many like big industry, like we're just gonna crank movies out. Like especially like we see that with Disney, Frozen 2,
James Cameron Avatar came out with Avatar in like 2012. And now he has 5 sequels planned starting in like 2021 or something. Like just now he's deciding that. 8 years later, he decides that he wants to make sequels. What's the point? Because he sees this thing that happens with Marvel and the cinematic. Everyone's making cinematic universes. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, cinematic universes are so fucking cool. They're so awesome. But if you're just going to make a cinematic universe for money, what the fuck is the point? We're talking about art here.
Exactly. Like this is something that you need to want to do.
Right.
Like, and like you can say like, oh, what do we know? Like we're two, no budget filmmakers. You know what? Well, we can tell when there's bullcrap going around. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like sometimes we're deeper into the art of it more than, head execs.
Yeah. Because they're just thinking about fans are going to eat it up no matter what. So let's just put it out there. It's like fast food.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like the new generation of Marvel is fast food.
Yeah.
Compared to like, Joker.
Classic Joker.
Like where they just
Dark
dig
Knight,
in.
Iron Man.
Yeah, where they just dig in and they're not about, there's a money aspect because you have to spend a lot of money for these films.
Advertising, of course.
Right. But the original passion can't be lost.
Exactly.
For the film. And if that's lost, then
I don't want it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
why I really like what John Krasinski's doing, like with A Quiet Place, Jordan Peele, what he's doing. Like they're not going for, and no, I can't say this because he's making Quiet Place 2, but I really see this with Jordan Peele where he's making like, you can tell like he's, and you know what? Honestly, Jordan Peele reminds me a lot of us because he started in the comedy. That's where he started, and he made these skits and stuff, and now he's making his own movies.
Super crazy dramatic films.
Yeah, it's like us.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool that he can do that because he gets it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'd say the similar for John Krasinski though too, because I feel like he started in a place of like, Office. That's a comedy. He started off as an actor, and now he's a writer director.
That's super cool.
And like that's basically in the classic days, we were never actually like fucking filming. We were all actors just like with shitty camera skills.
Right, yeah.
And now we're writer directors and sometimes actors,
Exactly.
And I see us perfectly in that spot. And yeah, Jordan, they're so crazy. I love to see people grow that are so similar to us.
For sure. And I mean, you could say the same for Tarantino. I know he's like one of the biggest names in Hollywood ever, but you can say the same for him. I mean, each one of his films is like...
It's pure film art.
Yeah. And you can tell that his mind just thought of it and he just put it out there.
And he doesn't do it for money.
No.
He literally says he's making 10 films and then he's done.
That's so cool.
Someone who wants to make money from films is never going to stop at 10. You know what I'm saying?
They're always going to have their fingers in pies, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Always. He writes every line. He directs it. He's there. That's so cool to me.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele, he produces. I think that's so cool.
I think that, a lot of modern cinema is trashy. But I think that the public is well aware of that, and that at least a majority of the public isn't going to those films.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're like people are still going to go to them because the advertising, maybe it looks good in the trailer and it ends up being shit. But like the good stuff is always recognized.
Yeah,
even if like talking about Oscar snubs, that's way more recognition then because like you see a Joker's getting nominated, that's great, Joker totally deserves it, and then you see people like Hereditary got snubbed in 2017, this movie's getting snubbed this year, blah blah blah, because like, and that even saying that is like clear, like saying like, hey, yeah, that's a good fucking movie, that movie's still gonna go down in history, and I haven't seen anything about Pacific Rim Uprising, but I've seen a lot of stuff about the original, because the original was way better than the sequel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that they end up paying for that in the end. I think that you can't get away with that because I mean, like, look at Cats. I mean, milking
$95 million, and they made $6 million on opening weekend.
Yeah. Like,
they lost so much money making
what they
that
tried to
film.
do is reel you in with big names and weird looking animation.
Yeah.
And
they're like, look at this classic play.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna make it a movie, and we're gonna bring in all these crazy actors, all these like people that aren't even actors, like Jason Derulo and Taylor Swift.
I'm gonna want to go see that because every celebrity I know is in it, and nobody wants to see that because it's not an idea.
Right,
it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as basic as it gets. It's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
And
it might have been, but it wasn't executed well.
No.
At all.
No. And yeah, you can tell when there's no passion in the project.
Right.
And here's another thing too is like some filmmakers take this too far though. Like I feel like some and I almost don't want to say this because as long as
speak your mind, we live in a free country. Speak it.
So as long as a filmmaker is making something that is their vision, like yes, like I don't matter like what I think of it, like that's their vision, that's cool. You have to take it for what it is. Right. But there's a lot of especially like upcoming filmmakers who make stuff that and they try to be way too like artistic with it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like these indie things like at these film festivals where it's just like they try to use every technique they know and like they try to make sure like there's
to the
shots.
point where it's pulling away from the story.
Yeah, to the point where it's like so technically like focused.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, well, what's the movie about?
Right. Like you want to use the whole point of the art is telling stories.
Exactly.
And if you're pulling away from the story with all of this stuff, then what? Yeah.
If you're trying so hard to get these awesome visuals and like symbolic
what does
meanings,
it serve the story?
Yeah.
It needs to serve the story.
It's like when English teachers like say like William Shakespeare writes that this door is red. Is he portraying anger here? Is he right?
You're looking into it.
Yeah, it is a red door.
Yeah, it's a red door.
And I mean, sometimes if a film can like have that kind of stuff, it needs to be used properly.
Right, all the time. Yeah, and you can tell when it's like when it's specific. It's just it's all about doing the art right. Stuff like using close-ups correctly, because if there's a close-up on everything, nothing's important.
Right.
And if there's a wide shot on everything, nothing's important.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use those two with each other.
It's a balance.
There's a balance.
Yeah. And that's the art of filmmaking.
Yeah. But we'll get back more into it after the ad break.
Run the break.
Hey, Jack.
Yes, Cole James Anderson.
Have you ever wanted to make a podcast?
I've always wanted to make a podcast before.
Wow, that's great. Because if you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast.
Really?
Let me explain.
Tell me more, please.
It's free.
Wow.
The best option. If it's free, it's gonna be lit.
I'm a broke college kid. I don't got money.
There's creation tools that allow you to re-record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Sick.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Not to mention, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That means start off 0 listeners, and you can already get ads.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is probably the best news I've heard all day.
Dude, it's everything you need in a podcast to make a podcast all in one. So, guys, if you want to make a podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM to get started.
Wow, I'm going to go make me a podcast right now.
Welcome back to the Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast.
Isn't that just a great ad?
It was a great ad. We've been using it since episode 3.
It's episode 3.
And we're not going to change it until season 2.
No.
Okay, here we go. A bit of a political one. Women get off easy in divorces in most cases. This is from Mitchell Messersmith.
Ooh.
I would say, yeah, most of the time. I'd say the court favors women in that case. I think that's even statistically proven that women win more divorce cases.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's way easier to prove a neglectful father than a neglectful mother.
Because that's the way it's been typically.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't know. Because like
super messed up.
I don't know a lot of like the statistics and facts and that. I don't feel educated enough to answer that in a fair way.
Does it sound like it would make sense though?
It sounds like it would make sense. I can see it going both ways. I mean, even like after watching Marriage Story, like I totally get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can see how they would say that. I don't know.
I think I want to see more films that have like, more stuff in like courtrooms, because I'm in love with like courtroom scenes and stuff. That's why I love Better Call Saul, because a lot of Better Call Saul is like in courtrooms because he's a lawyer. Or in Daddy in My Eyes. Daddy in My Eyes is supposed to be told in a similar way that you're talking about Gorilla, that Gorilla film, where like it starts off in a courtroom and then you learn everything as the court case continues. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a movie called like The Exorcism of Emily Rose or something. And it's this film. Basically, this family is arguing that their daughter was possessed by a demon, and that was how she died. And then like this like group of doctors is trying to argue that she was actually suffering from like schizophrenia and like all these other things, and she was neglected because they thought that she was possessed. And it's like so great because you're seeing like all this stuff, and they like explain this horrible scene, and you see her like getting possessed and like all this stuff, and then the doctors explain what they think happened, and she's having a seizure, hallucinating. And it's like, it's getting every perspective, and that's the great thing about like court cases, is because you have to get every perspective.
Right.
I just love stuff like that.
That's super cool. Yeah. I like it when they can creatively tell a nonlinear story.
Yeah.
In a way like that. You know what I mean?
And that's one of the best ways that I've seen it be done.
Creative like formats for how they structure their movie is how you make a really cool movie, I think. The more I've been thinking about it, like that's how Quentin Tarantino bursted into the biz with his nonlinear storytelling.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. I mean, it's very first films right off the bat, just like shot nonlinear. You're piecing it together in different ways, seeing what's happening. And
it's so, and it pays off so well at that fact.
And the nonlinear, and if you can find like a cool structure, and some movies, you got to know when to do that with.
Yeah.
Like 1917, saw that. All looks like it's one shot, which is like,
I'm so excited to see that.
Oh my goodness, it is so cool. And so like you got to know when and when not to use it. Some movies like just need the straightforward, tell it front to back.
Yeah.
Some movies need a nonlinear. It just depends on the story. Don't force it if it's not going to work with the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even it definitely benefits to start at a nonlinear standpoint and then jump into a linear standpoint, because I love doing that with like short films to like grab the attention, and then even slowly, like even just like explaining things in a very minute way. Mm-hmm. Like with my short film, it starts basically like in the middle of the short film, and then it like match cuts to something to kind of give you an idea of like, oh, so that was, and then later it explains further,
right?
And like it benefits from that.
Yeah, and that's. Yeah, so you just gotta know how to use that, which I think is super cool that like Christopher Nolan did with Memento.
Right.
How he told that, just his structure of that, the way
it's like going like this.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's literally like wow. Like, if you haven't seen Memento, we can't really explain it, so just go watch it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like making a physical gesture, like it's going like this.
So watch your hands.
Like, watch my hands right now as you listen to this podcast with no visuals. We're sorry for that, guys. I'm kind of stupid. Let's see. I think we've talked about a lot of these. Have we talked about this one? Sometimes a movie reboot or a sequel is better than the original.
Sometimes it is.
For sure. I have The Conjuring 2 over here, and I don't have The Conjuring 1. You know why? Because The Conjuring 2 is better than the first one.
Yeah. I hate the misconception. Well, okay. I get it, because 90% of the time, the sequel's trash.
Right.
But you can't rule it out.
Right.
Like...
it's like we were talking about earlier. If the story is meant to continue and there's a sequel, then of course, possibly the sequel could be good.
Right. Obvious example is Dark Knight, but like other films like, okay, Skyfall, 007. I mean, honestly, I'd say that's the best one in the series.
Yeah. I like that one the best too.
Came after Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is really good though too.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Is there another one before that?
I think there was.
Can't think of it. Not gonna waste my time. But yeah, so never judge that because, okay, very, very, like one of the most controversial opinions I have.
Oh boy.
Last Jedi.
He's gonna say the N-word.
No, again. No, I was gonna say Last Jedi. I think is the best one. Is one of the best Star Wars films.
Wow. I think it has.
That's another example of milking, by the way.
Sure.
Wars, yeah.
I think that The Last Jedi is not. I don't think that it's the best film of the entire, or even like of the new trilogy, but I definitely think that it has some of the best moments.
For sure.
From like the original. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the overall, I think the story is kind of terrible in parts. But like in other parts, it's like, holy crap, that was such a good moment.
The way it was executed was very cool. Like the director, I thought, did a really cool job. Like the way it was directed was super cool. Like I love the visuals. I love how it all plays out. Like, and I just think it's really, really fun to watch. You know what I mean?
I mean, it definitely has like decent rewatchability.
Oh, for sure.
But nothing compared to The Dark Knight.
Oh no,
I've seen The Dark Knight way too many times.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. Is like with this Star Wars stuff, like how much more are we gonna get?
Right. I feel like Star Wars should just die.
I agree. I think you know what you've made 3.
If it's
trilogies.
Gonna be continued, it should be continued in ways that like Rogue One, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm done with the trilogies.
Yeah, we know.
Expand the fucking universe if you really want to.
We get it. Luke Skywalker, Millennium Falcon, Chewie.
Right.
We can get all that crap. You know?
Man, a lot of people just got mad at you. So Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, no, we get it. Like we've had freaking 9 movies of this.
Yeah,
like,
it's been shoved down our throats.
Yeah, we get this.
Yeah.
We get it, and it's a money grabbing industry.
It honestly, well, that's the entirety of Star Wars. After the first film, it was money grabbing.
Yeah,
because the first film I wouldn't say was money grabbing. The very first
one was a risk.
First one was a huge risk.
Yeah,
but after that, it was successful. They knew that the sequels were going to be good, so they started selling toys, and it's been money grabbing ever since.
Yep, and you know, money grabbing isn't like a modern thing either. Like I think this has been going on.
People have been doing it for decades.
I mean, we can look at old films. You know, like like Rocky series, you know, I mean, 5 sucked.
Yeah.
I honestly really loved the first 4, but 5 sucked. 6, I didn't really like that
4
much.
is my favorite, actually.
And now we're on Creed. Like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, well, and then I saw that they made Creed, and I was like, that's a good take. That's a good take.
Sure.
That's a good place to take the story. And then they made a second one. And I was like, why?
Yeah, we're doing this again, you know?
Already? Didn't the first one come out like last year?
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
Like I hear, I've seen Godfather 1. I hear Godfather 2 is great, almost better. And then Godfather 3 I hear sucks.
Right.
So like, this isn't something new. This has been going on for a long time.
Since probably the beginning of film.
Yeah. Since we saw Charlie Chaplin, he's just a money grabbing bastard.
Money grabbing bastard. Are there any films you're looking forward to this year?
A lot.
Give me a few.
We've already had a lot of really good films.
Well, I still haven't seen 1917.
So yeah, 1917.
That's on my top. I still haven't seen the new Star Wars.
New Star Wars.
I don't
Ford
care
v
whether or not
Ferrari
you're
was
gonna
actually
like it.
really good.
I want to see that too.
That was a good one.
Uncut Gems.
I want to see that one. I want to see.
Did you see the trailer for Vivarium?
I did not, but I was gonna watch that.
Holy crap,
good?
dude! That movie looks so good.
No Time to Die.
No Time to
Looks
Die.
awesome. Oh shoot, Fast. I love the Fast series. I know they're insane at this point. I just love them. That one I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to. Shoot, why can't I think of it? You name some.
Sure. Let's see. Trying to think of movies that are coming out this year. Well, the Black Widow's coming out this year, and I only want to see that because David Harbour's in it, and I think David Harbour is a fantastic actor. Are you gonna Google it? Are you
Yeah,
Googling
I'm 2020 movie.
I'm gonna do it too. Just hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta.
Guys, you guys don't understand how much we love movies. Like,
Yeah, we
So
gotta.
good.
We gotta.
honestly, I have not seen the first Wonder Woman. I have not seen the first Wonder Woman.
Like, what is it, 1974 or something?
That actually looks good.
That's a-
Tenet.
Tenet. Holy
I
shit!
don't even think that's what I was trying to think of. Oh my goodness.
That's literally my.
That's
the
our
one
most
movie.
anticipated movie.
And we're like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Obviously, Quiet Place
I
2.
don't want to see Mulan for sure.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Another
I
example
watched-
of a remake, though. Like,
It's
I don't know.
hopefully it's tasteful.
It better be good.
Right. It
Which
better
is-
be tasteful.
So, like, that's the thing when they're doing these remakes is like they better be good if they're gonna do them.
right.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I really like. I'm kind of on the fence with Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that. I want to see Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah.
Because
Honestly,
I'm interested in where it'll go, and I trust John Krasinski.
oh yeah, for sure. Onward looks like crap.
Really,
Literal crap.
I've been kind of like not paying attention to it.
No.
First
I don't
trailer
want-
kind of blew me off.
Yeah.
Bad Boys 3 came out.
I hear that's the best one.
Really?
I hear it's got killer reviews.
Well, that was directed. But 3, the new one, is directed by Michael Bay, right?
Is it?
I think so. I think I've heard.
I hear
I'm not
terrible
sure.
reviews about Doolittle.
Doolittle crashed. Like it recently just came out, and it did,
my
and it
goodness.
sucks.
Yeah. You could tell.
I'm
You could
so
tell.
excited for the New Mutants to finally be released.
Really?
Yes.
Where's
That was supposed to come out like 2018, 2017.
really?
That's like I think that's supposed to be. It's either going to be the last, like the proper last X-Men film,
Oh, yeah.
or it's going to be the start of the X-Men in the MCU.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So like that would be worth seeing, but I mean without Hugh Jackman, I don't want to see it.
Really?
Call of the Wild looks like trash. If you haven't seen that trailer, CGI looks awful.
Wild? What
Could
is
be
that?
good though. It's Harrison Ford traveling with a dog through the wilderness. I don't
What
know.
about Godzilla versus King Kong?
You know, I have never seen any of those movies.
Really?
They just haven't got my attention.
Bryan Cranston was barely used in the first Godzilla film.
He was
and
in
I hated that. Bryan Cranston is such a good actor.
You make the most of Bryan Cranston
Right.
when you got him.
The CGI in those films are really good though. Like,
Are they?
The proper like the monster fighting is like
Really,
it's good.
I kind of want to see
It's
that.
good. You don't go to those films for the story. You know.
Yeah.
You go to those to see
Right.
Godzilla fight King
Right,
Kong.
yeah. And sometimes that's just what you need.
Right.
The new Ryan Reynolds New Guy. Is it called New Guy? Or?
Is that like in the video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
want to
looks
see that.
funny.
It looks
That
good.
really
It looks funny.
He's always good. Underwater looks good.
Does it? I haven't seen a trailer for that.
It actually looks all right.
Is that Kristen Stewart?
the guy from Deadpool?
No. Who is this?
Kristen
yeah, that's
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
Is that a girl or?
Kristen Stewart's a girl, isn't she? Yeah, Kristen Stewart's a girl.
Oh.
Is that Kristen Stewart though? Yeah, Underwater. Yeah, that's Kristen Stewart.
Sonic looks like trash.
Well, they redid it. They redid the design, so at least that'll be good in that department. This story is gonna be trash no
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what. It's a fucking video
Sure.
game
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
The Grudge is directed
Grudge.
by Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi's quality has gone way down.
Really?
Like you watch his classic, like Evil Dead 2, Spider-Man 2. Those films are classic, but like I don't know, Sam Raimi's just kind of fell off
Really?
recently. Yeah,
I haven't been keeping up with him.
he's like his classic films are good.
Bloodshot looks like a classic Vin Diesel movie. Every other Vin Diesel movie, but it actually looks pretty alright. I love Vin Diesel. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that, and it feels like they kind of like dropped the what is it, like the
big
twist.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I didn't.
Well, otherwise nobody would go see that.
Right, but it also makes it feel like decent.
Right.
I would have actually preferred that they didn't do that, and I would have been like, oh, this is just going to be another. This is going to be another fucking superhero movie. And then people are like, dude, you need to go see that. Yeah. It's so good.
But the thing is, like, nobody would go see it.
Right.
Which is, like, I totally get why they did that. Because, like, they needed to. Scoob looks awful.
I do not want to see Morbius. I have a very complicated relationship with the new Halloween Kills film.
Oh.
Because
is that off of the one where the last one that we saw?
Right. Because Halloween came out in, 2018? And that was a sequel to the very first film.
Yeah.
And it was a good movie. It was a really good movie.
It was.
It was brought back, I think, John Carpenter didn't direct it. I think his son directed it.
Really?
And it was so good. It was super good. Faithful. I like the acting in it was great.
It was simple. It was nice and simple.
And it felt like it ended properly.
Yeah.
And now they're making a sequel to it.
Did you watch that all the way to the end?
The new
Halloween?
New one? Yeah, all the way to the end, yeah.
Where you hear the...
Yeah, in the credits?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I went to the theater for that, and I sat through the credits because someone told me that there's going to be something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man. Oh! Yeah. It's like the perfect ending.
Yeah.
Because, it cuts out the continuity of, the other films of, him coming back to life and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, this is the definitive end. He's not going to come back to life after dying. But he fucking did.
Yeah, here we go again. Yeah.
What about they're remaking West Side Story, I guess? I don't know how I feel about that. That movie's been remade so many times.
Venom 2 will be good.
Gretel and Hansel?
I've not seen Actually, I think I saw a teaser for that way back when.
Also, The Turning. Those are supposed to be horror films.
The Turning looks awful. I don't like Finn Wolfhard.
Really?
I don't like him.
I think he's a good actor.
He just annoys me.
Really?
He just looks like you want to punch him in the face.
Well, he's in that part of his he's in that part of his life with puberty and stuff.
Actually, that's super mean of me to say, but
what if we get to work with him someday and we're like,
take that out. Take that out. That's not nice. Take that out.
I'm not gonna take it out. He can take criticism.
Yeah, that's so mean.
I just want to punch him in the face.
All right, disregard what I said.
It's okay. Yeah. He'll change. I used to want to punch Hayden Christensen in the face.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who played Anakin. Mm-hmm. Dude's got a super punchable face. Let's be real. And he's a great actor. And when he has good writing, and I think that's true with most people.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I want to punch him in the face, and hopefully he doesn't hear this and blast me.
He listens to the podcast every
week. But yeah.
So, anyways, point is that there's a lot of good movies coming up in 2020.
Venom 2 is supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome? I'm stoked for that.
Carnage.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson. Let's go.
Oh shit.
Let's go, baby.
Dude, that'd be lit. All right.
I'm stoked.
2020 is gonna be a great year.
Oh, for sure.
Really quick, because we have about 10 minutes left. I kept forgetting to do this. We missed list week at the beginning of 2020. So let's go over your top 5 films of 2019.
Oh shoot, I was supposed to think of this, wasn't I? Of 2019, huh?
Yeah. I'll go first.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I'd say number 1 would be Joker.
Number 1.
I know. So many people do not like that film, mainly because of how mainstream it is. But honestly, that film is fucking great. Number 2 was Marriage Story.
Really?
Marriage Story was good. And that released last year, and I only saw it this year, but it definitely I'm counting it as a 2019 film.
Yeah.
Number 3 would have to be. It's a tie between Slick Trigger 2019 and Slick Trigger Behind the Scenes 2019.
What? Slick Trigger's way down there at 3rd.
Number 4. I'm gonna have to go with what other films did I see that I really liked? All right, that was all the films. No, those were the main films that like really like kept a hold on me last year. Slick Trigger took over my life last year.
Of course.
Especially with the behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Mine would probably be obviously Slick Trigger. That doesn't count though.
Because we made it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So like, all right, I'm just gonna name 5 and then I'll order them. Okay. Lego Movie 2.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Lego Movie 2?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. It's such a good film. That'd probably be my number 4.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh my goodness. You're so basic.
I'm so basic. Shoot.
What about Joker?
Endgame.
Yeah. Endgame was all right. It's kind of went down on my list. Like it was a good film, but like it was not as good as some of the other ones that I saw.
And Toy Story 4.
Joker's not even in there?
No. Such a child's list, but that's my list. No, but here's the thing. Like, I love Joker movie. Like, it's so good, but like, I don't know. It's just, it's so like overhyped, I guess. Like,
I don't think it's overhyped at all.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it is hyped, right? Because it's such a good movie, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I agree. Like, it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, I don't know. For me, yeah, I just had so much fun watching those movies that I named.
Sure.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood obviously gets a little long because it's a Tarantino movie, but I love it. Like, it's a great...
I'd say the same with Endgame. Endgame was fucking long.
It was long. But the thing with Endgame was I just had so much fun watching that because, like, it's so good.
The fan service was so good.
Fan service is perfect. Lego Movie 2, I love the Lego series. They're so fun. They're so fun.
Granted, the animation in those films is fucking beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely great. And then what else I say? Oh yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. I had a blast watching that movie.
I'm rolling my eyes right now.
So good. And what was the last one I said? Anyways, you guys get the idea.
Yeah. I need to get you to watch some horror films.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you at least know what you're watching when we finish Reality Bleeding.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be in a theater and you're gonna be like, oh, and I'm gonna be like, you're in this. You'll be like, oh, I'm scared. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm like, you're in this, Jack.
I got a poop stain.
I wore my brown pants.
Yeah. Jack, you were there filming.
Jack, you were on set. I'm still scared.
It's that good of a movie.
I hope so.
Yeah, it will.
Dude, I'm just so excited for your film too.
Oh man,
we gotta talk about.
We got a couple banger films coming up 2020.
Bangers, and then we got more projects coming after that. So stay tuned.
Buckle up.
Hopefully, we're gonna work on some microfilms, some short films because we're gonna be getting some new cameras soon. We're gonna be testing them out.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to our YouTube
it's gonna
channels.
Hit the fan.
That's right. So check me out, Cole James and Anderson Visuals. That's YouTube. That's Twitter. That's Instagram. What about you?
The Cheese Puffs, Storm Boomin' and Late Night Boomin' on Instagram and YouTube.
So check us out. We talk about Slick Trigger a lot, so might as well go check it out on the Cheese Puffs full length film. Go check out the behind the scenes on Anderson Visuals. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's podcast. We'll see you next week. See you next week.
Peace. Thank you for listening to Small YouTube Channels Talk Podcast with Cole James Anderson and Jack Unruh. And don't forget, new episodes every Friday.